story started when we recognised there was an unmet need in the clinic for a potent therapy that could tackle multiple mutations present in every tumour cell, the basis of Achilles, essentially. And from there, we recognised that to do this, we couldn't do it any longer in an academic setting.
My co-founder and I always knew that we would leave academia to commercialise something like this. I personally thought that it would take much longer, and then realised sort of late in my PhD that actually going further down the academic path would not get me significantly closer to being able to commercialise this, which is what I really wanted to do. And so sort of just doing it and just starting was more important than waiting till we had those 100 papers.
We all are PhD students at the Imperial College. The three of us, we are doing medical robotics. Each one, I would say, in different topics. We say, okay, we should kind of team up and like try to move, I would say, the project that seems the most close to market, most feasible in terms of economics.
Myself and one of the eventual co-founders, Harry, went for lunch one day in the hospital, and we were sitting in a McDonald's. I don't know why there's a McDonald's in Addenbrooke's, but there is. And we were looking around, and everybody was kind of running these Windows 95 and Windows 2000 computers. And we thought that if really cutting-edge technologies are going to make their way out of the clinic and out of the lab and into the clinic, really there needs to be something else done. So we need to do something to enable clinicians to make the most of computational biology and the amazing things we can do with big data.
For me, it was actually a long journey. I've actually been involved in some previous startups throughout my PhD. So I was helping around with other startups. I never had my own before, but I knew the environment, I knew the people who are actually doing it. I knew lots of entrepreneurs who needed help here and there, and this is where I started interacting with this field, and I've actually realized I really like it.
I've been interested in the biology of aging and what you can do about aging for a very long time. But I think that the genesis was at a conference in about 2013. And I was sitting listening to this talk, and I thought that talk was absolute rubbish. But there's a little gem there that I could put together with something else I'd seen years before and another idea I'd had years before that, and it just clicked in my head. I thought, that's what I want to do. And I developed the ideas a bit more. I talked to a couple of other guys. We all put a bit of our own money into it, and I'm going to the lab part-time at the moment, doing some initial experiments to see if the idea is right.
I was an academic at Imperial College, and one of my friends there had actually asked me to come and help out with some of the mice she was working with. They suffered from anemia. She needed a way of actually measuring their anemia over time, and to do that, tiny little volumes of blood required. And so I set about building a little platform that assisted her in actually producing her research. The results were fantastic. Really, this technology we developed had this perfect opportunity to address an unmet need within a global landscape.
I think academics think that they are the Premier League and everybody else is not, especially those in industry. Whereas people in industry think that academics live in an ivory tower and don't do anything practical. I don't actually see any real conflict. I mean, I've enjoyed working in both spheres.
I quite like the balance between academia and industry, so I'm currently doing 50-50. So 50% of my research fellowship and 50% the biotech company.
Universities are often the best place to discover new aspects of biology, to learn new things, and to come up with new ideas. But once you've got something that you want to develop further and take hopefully into patients as a new therapy, it's always best to form a company. So what a company is, it's just a bunch of like-minded people with the same goal. So when we say, talk about translation, we're talking about taking ideas from the laboratory into a vehicle like a company where everyone can focus on its development.